98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com presents the Mid-Columbia Today Show with Mark Bailey. Special thanks to our sponsors, Skyline Hospital, Eastside Paving, and Del Carpine Automotive. Now, here's Mark Bailey.
It is 8:05 in the morning. Good morning on this 2nd of July. Heading into a holiday weekend. This is our last show of the week. No show tomorrow. Of course, if you're listening on the podcast version of the show, it doesn't really matter what the date is. You could be listening on the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th or whenever you are listening. But nonetheless, here we are this morning. Cameron Eisenberg producing as usual. Here's what we're doing today. First part of the show. An ice rink in the Columbia Gorge. It's a lot closer than you think. Mark Newman's going to join us from Columbia Gorge Skating. We're going to talk about what they've been trying to do, and there is a permit that's at the Hood River County Planning Department, so we will talk about that. Second half of the show, Grace Wesson and Karyna Marquez from Hood River County 4-H. We are just 3 weeks away from the Hood River County Fair. To shock you, we are almost to that time again. And we'll talk about 4-H has got planned, the Hood River County Fair, coming up in a bit. But first, as we always do, let's tell you what this day has meant and what it means at least to some people. This day in 1776, the Continental Congress passed a resolution saying that these United States colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states. 2 days later, they would, of course, make that official. They'd sign it. 1881, President James A. Garfield was shot by Charles Guiteau at the Washington Railroad Station. Garfield died the following September, and Guiteau was hanged in June of 1882. 1917, rioting erupted in East St. Louis, Illinois, as white mobs attacked black residents. At least 15, as many as 200 people, most of them black, are believed to have died in the violence. This day in 1937, Amelia Earhart and navigator Fred Noonan disappeared over the Pacific Ocean while attempting to make the first round-the-world flight along the equator. This day in 1962, the first Walmart store opened in Rogers, Arkansas. 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the law sweeping civil rights bill passed by Congress prohibiting discrimination and segregation based on race, color, sex, religion, or national origin. 1979, the Susan B. Anthony dollar coin. Remember that if you're of a certain age? Well, it was released to the public on this day. 1986, ruling in a pair of cases, the Supreme Court upheld affirmative action as a remedy for past job discrimination. 2002, Steve Fawcett became the first person to complete a solo circumnavigation of the world nonstop in a balloon. 2018, rescue drivers in Thailand found alive 12 boys and their soccer coach who had been trapped by flooding as they explored a cave more than a week earlier. And in 2020, British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, arrested in New Hampshire on charges she helped lure at least 3 girls to be sexually abused by the late financier Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell will be convicted on 5 of 6 counts. Our days for today, it is Made in the USA Day today. It is Freedom from Fear of Speaking Day. I imagine we're talking about public speaking here. You know, there have been some studies that show public speaking is, by many people, feared more than death. Which Jerry Seinfeld pointed out very accurately. That means if you're at a funeral, you'd rather be in the box than giving the eulogy. It's also, for some reason, World Sports Journalists Day today. I'm not sure why. It's also I Forgot Day today. This is a day that if you've forgotten something like a birthday or something like that, you really should apologize. And just fess up that you forgot. Only food and drink we have today. It's National Anisette Day today. So as we always say with these sort of things, celebrate responsibly. 8:09 in the morning on a sunny day in July. We're going to talk about ice, so we'll come back after this.
Mid-Columbia Today is a public affairs program of Bi-Coastal Media, Columbia River, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com. Now, back to Mark Bailey.
It is 8:11 in the morning. We're happy to have with us now from the organization Columbia Gorge Skating. Mark Newman's with us. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Mark.
And we're going to talk about something. I first heard about this about 2 years ago. And I've been hoping to talk about this, and now this is really accelerated. So I'm glad. I thank you for coming on. An ice rink in the Columbia Gorge in Hood River. First of all, how did this all? What's the genesis of all this? How did you guys get started trying to put this together?
I've been coming to the gorge for over 35 years to go windsurfing.
Okay.
And I'd always meet people after windsurfing in a bar drinking a beer, and we end up talking about hockey. And there's a lot of hockey players and skaters in the gorge. And I live in Mosier now. I've been lived there full time for 6 years now. And I have neighbors who used to be able to skate on the Mosier ponds right by the highway at the exits.
Okay.
Because they'd freeze in the winter, but they can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And so a bunch of us have been talking about it. There's a roller hockey league in Hood River.
Yeah, you play in the Armory, I believe.
Yes, and that's very active. There's a number of people that drive to Vancouver or to Beaverton to play ice hockey, and the figure skaters are largely left out because it's a long drive, and there's kind of not an impetus for them to go.
And the rink in Vancouver has always kind of been on shaky footing, is my understanding. I have a young relative who plays there, hockey, and so I'm a little familiar with it. At one point, it was going to close down, I heard, but it got saved.
I don't know their finances, but they seem to be doing well right now.
It appears to be on better footing.
I play there on Sunday nights, and an indication to me is they're renovating the building. They're spending money.
Oh, good.
So
good.
So it seems things seem to be going good for them. Oregon's interesting. It has the second least amount of rinks of any state in the United States.
Well, the only ones I can think of are the one at Clackamas Town Center isn't there anymore, is it?
No.
But the Winterhawk Skate Center, which used to be Valley Ice Arena in Beaverton. Lloyd Center used to have one. I'm not sure that's going to be around anymore.
It's about to close, and it was a mini rink.
Southern Oregon and Redmond, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of.
And Bend has a part-time rink.
Yeah, I think that's what Redmond I'm kind of referring to.
Yeah, and they're in discussions to add more rinks to Bend, Oregon. One of the things that we're looking at is ice rinks can generate a lot of tourism income, travel, which is good for the hotels. And I have a friend in the produce business, and he says the restaurants here in Hood River really suffer in the winter because there's not a lot of tourists. And then if you look at what happened for our ski season last year.
There was one? I must have missed it.
It was pretty tough. And that's tough both on the mountain, the local businesses that cater to these people, and tough on our residents. And so we look at January. January can be a pretty tough month. It's a beautiful sunny day right now.
Yeah.
You look out your window today, and it's absolutely gorgeous. But in the middle of January, you don't see the sun. It's cloudy and gray. It may be drizzling on you all day, and so this will provide a great family recreation opportunity.
So let's fast forward a little bit here. I heard this getting talked about, and then all of a sudden, a couple weeks ago, I saw a little note that there was at the planning department an application for a 10-acre by Double Mountain owns the property. It's out Windmaster Corner, and included a partition for 2 acres for what was called community center recreation. It was an ice rink. What's happened here? Because clearly this thing has gotten a lot of momentum here fairly quickly.
I'm going to give you the short background, but we formed a team, a nonprofit, to try and advance this idea. And one of the first things we did when the bridge was closed and they let you walk on the bridge, I think it was about 2 years ago, we started a petition drive. 4 of us stood out there in hockey jerseys and started collecting names and addresses. And we've had response from over 1,000 people to a little survey we have. And there's great interest in the community for the rink. And we've been trying for the last 2 years to find a location. We looked at the waterfront, at Lot 1 at the waterfront. We looked at a lot of different locations at the waterfront. We looked at the lot next to Red Carpet, and we've looked everywhere.
Well, land for anything here is expensive.
Yes, and everyone's first question is, where is it going to be?
Right.
and we elected not to raise a dime until we can answer that question. And so finally we have that answer. We were fortunate to make an agreement with Double Mountain to partition off 2 acres and put a rink next to the cold storage facility in between that and Windmaster on Barrett Road.
So I think you got a donor from what I saw on your website.
Yes, we have an anonymous donor that's going to fund the land.
Okay.
And then our goal, we all remember the swimming pool bond.
Sure.
Which was, it passed, I say thankfully.
Yeah.
I think it's great for the community. We don't have any taxing authority. And,
of course
and
not.
our goal is to get private donors to fund this rink. So it's not going to increase anyone's taxes. It's going to be open to everyone. Yeah. And our the mission of our nonprofit team is without debt, the operations from the rink will fund everything going forward. And our plan is to make it affordable to all residents of the gorge.
How much does it cost to? I mean, the land being taken care of. How much do you have to build the rink?
We need to raise $10 to $12 million to build a rink. So it's a big raise.
That's a big number.
It's a big number, but we think we can get it done. There's a lot of people that have invested in the stock market and have done really well, and I mean some that have done extremely well, and we're convinced we're going to find donors. We're also working on grants from the federal government and state grants, and we're trying to open any wallet we can find, and but it's a big job that we have ahead of us.
So at $10 to $12 million. I mean, do you have a time frame you want to do this in? I mean,
I see you're reaching for your wallet right now. So if
I don't have $10 to $12 million, I guarantee that. Yeah.
No,
I wouldn't be doing this if I had $10 to $12
million. We're a bunch of dreamers on the team. Is why we're doing this. And one of the funnest things about working on this project is everyone is excited for this to come to the gorge. So a time frame, it's a little hard to say, but we'd hope to be able to get it done within 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
But if it's not you, if it's your uncle, but we're working hard, and we have a fundraiser coming up on July 27th. Yep. I'm going to
get to that here in a minute. Here, I do wonder. I'll ask the question as if I was somebody with $10 to $12 million. Can you mention, the feelings kind of on this? Has there been what sort of market study has been done? I mean, do we know how far out you can expect people to come for this? I certainly would expect the market for this to be far larger than the Hood River area.
Yes, we the study we've done is a survey of local people.
Okay.
But we've also found in looking at other rinks that you can expect people to travel 60 miles to 90 miles to come here, depending on if it's an event or not. If a figure skating tournament, or we plan to also have a lot of curling, and there's a huge interest in curling around the Olympics, and so we're going to have curling weekends, and we certainly can draw from Portland for that, and we think we'll get people coming from both east and west.
Well, is it, when you say local, was it just Hood River area, or did you expand local? I mean, I think the Dalles would be a big part of this market draw.
Well, our dream, and again, we're dreamers.
Yes.
But our dream is for high school hockey, both boys and girls, and we look forward to White Salmon versus the Dalles, Hood River versus the Dalles, Hood River versus White Salmon.
So you're telling me I'm going to be expanding from football, basketball, and baseball broadcast to hockey?
Yes. We're trying to grow the media markets, not shrink them.
Okay. I got to know what to prepare for here in my old age at this point.
I'm staring at Mark right now, and he's wearing a Montreal Canadiens sweatshirt.
I am. People who listen to this show know I'm a hockey fan. I would love to see this. I'm combining my love of this with my always question of. We talk about this a lot of things on this show. You can build a lot. I always say you can build just about anything. It's the operational sustaining to me that always is the question. And I've heard ice rinks are really expensive to operate.
Well, they're expensive to operate. We're fortunate. It may not feel that way, but electricity is cheap here.
Yes,
it's cheaper in the gorge. So that goes in our favor. And again, our model is we're going to have zero debt that this rink has to pay off. Many rinks, you see rinks fail across the country. That's because they're bought and they have to pay off a big mortgage.
Well, they probably financed $10 to $12 million. Is basically what you told me.
Yes, and so to pay off that debt, it becomes a problem for them. And so we're trying to set this up so it does not fail. That's our goal.
So you want to build a rink with it sounds like a regulation hockey sheet, 200 by 85.
Yes.
Some curling in there as well.
We'll convert the ice over for curling.
Okay.
You spray the water and it gets these little dimples on there.
I was wondering, having seen some of the curling events from Canadian television, and like what you have to do to change the ice when they play in hockey rinks. They're big tournaments, and I know the ice has to be pebbly or something like that.
Yeah, you walk out with a water spray.
Oh, okay. So it's not that difficult.
It's not that difficult.
Okay.
It's done in rinks, across North America all the time.
Because at my age, I don't see myself necessarily being able to skate. But I think I could curl if this thing gets open.
Well, we'll teach you how to skate. We'll teach you how to play hockey, and we'll teach you how to curl. And we also have figure skaters. If you're daring, we'll teach you how to jump on skates.
Well, yeah, no, that isn't going to happen. Not at 60 years old. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I pushing the puck around, I definitely would be interested in doing. It is interesting though. There are a lot of people. I know you mentioned these play on Mosier Ponds. I know they play up at Lawrence Lake when it freezes. That one is easy for me to buy into up there. They've also played, I know on occasion down, I think in the Hook area.
Yes.
That would scare me to go out there and play. Lawrence Lake, I fully can get where that gets frozen enough.
I had the opportunity to skate at the sandbar where the Hood River meets the Columbia River one winter, and it was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I talked to people that have lived here in the gorge their whole life, and they say, I'd love to go skating, but I don't have skates.
Yeah.
So when Lawrence Lake freezes, unless you have the equipment,
right,
it's hard to get up there, and it's such a small window and very unpredictable when it's going to be available.
You've got a fundraiser coming up for this. Tell us about it. I think it's on the 27th.
We have a fundraiser at the Ruins on the 27th. The Ruins was kind enough to donate the whole facility to us for free for our fundraiser. We got a great band playing, the 1030 band. You may have heard them. There are a bunch of locals playing the band. One of the lead guys is Shane Lebsack, and Shane is a board member. He runs the roller league here in Hood River, and we're hoping to raise $10 to $12 million.
Yes,
it's probably not going to happen that night, but
it would be the most successful fundraiser in the history of this community if you raised $12 million in one night.
You never know who's going to show up. I mean, we invited Bill Gates.
Well, I know this show. You never know who's listening. I do know we had an organization generate $50,000 in about 3 hours after an appearance on this show. Not saying what happened here, but.
Right.
But we have had stories that occurs, so you never know.
Yeah, we've invited Phil Knight, but the goal of our fundraiser, our next step is to, after we believe we're going to get a conditional use permit from the county. Yeah. It seems everyone's in favor of the idea of bringing an ice rink to the gorge. Our next step is to design the actual facility. And we've committed, we want to build the rink out of wood because Hood River is a timber town.
Right.
And instead of having a pre-engineered metal building, which they kind of look drab inside, a nice warm wood frame building would be really spectacular for the valley.
And I'm going to point out something here. This my dad discovered this a few years ago. He took a motor trip around Canada in the summertime. And in the various small communities, et cetera, brought me back a T-shirt from a junior B team in Nelson, British Columbia. But he said, yeah, every place has ice rinks there. And I went, and in recreation centers, I went, yeah, because they value that and they they do this in every community, and put these together that we don't do. It's not unusual for small communities to have ice rinks. I know Wenatchee's got a huge ice community there.
Yep.
So it is something that can be done, most certainly. But it's just getting the momentum and getting the thing started that really is kind of, in this case, the big hurdle here at 10 to 12 million.
Yes, yes, and probably to date the biggest hurdle has been getting started. There have been a number of groups that have tried to do this in the past, and the idea has been floating around the gorge for 10 to 15 years, and the other groups got a little momentum and then they petered out.
Right.
We're committed.
Well, you got a board of about 10, I think.
We have 7 on our board. We have a lot of volunteers that are helping us out.
Yeah.
But the big thing we were lucky to find a donor who said, I'll fund the land.
Yeah.
And so we'll be able to sit on that land until we raise the money. And so we're not going away.
And frankly, in this area, the land is the biggest hurdle in terms of the cost. I mean,
yes,
for anything, not just this. So we will follow this with interest. Again, though, the fundraiser, one more time for people.
It's July 27th, Monday, at the Ruins. We're going to have all kind of fun silent auction items. We're getting great support from the community, donating things to us. And the band is really fun. They play a good mix of classic rock, and I think it's something that everyone will enjoy. It's open to all ages. We've got a couple different food trucks, and it should be a really good time.
September 27th at the Ruins in Hood River.
July 27th.
Oh, sorry, July 27th.
July 27th.
July 27th, the Ruins in Hood River, and which I think is a Monday night.
It's Monday. Fun day Monday.
Okay, Monday evening. I think it's I don't know what time it's going to be.
It goes 6 to 10, I think,
6 to 10.
6 to 9.
I know it's on our community calendar. I just don't have it in front of me here. So on that evening, and if people want to learn more about this, you have a website.
We have a website. It's cgskating.org.
Okay.
You can also look up the Gorge Ice Rink .org. And so both of those ULRs will take you to the website.
And you've got a place for people to donate. They can learn more about the project, what you're trying to do, etc. It's ambitious, to say the least.
Yes, it is. But again, we're committed, and we're not going away, and we're going to get it done.
Well, we will follow this with interest. I'm sure we'll have you back.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark.
Bomb of the hour, 8:30. More coming up with the news after this.
Everyone deserves to grow old with respect, but many older adults experience abuse, including physical or emotional harm, financial exploitation, isolation, sexual abuse, and neglect. Some older adults are at higher risk, including those over 65 who are LGBTQIA2S+, and people living with HIV. Too often, this abuse goes unreported. Abuse can happen to anyone. It's important to know what abuse is and learn how to spot the signs that someone is being harmed. Learning how to take action is important. Reporting suspected abuse, even if you're not sure, can make a real difference in your life or the life of someone you know and care about. Abuse reports are confidential. Every older adult deserves respect. Recognize and report abuse. Learn more at Oregon.gov/respect. That's Oregon.gov/respect. Brought to you by the Oregon Department of Human Services.
Coffee for Mid-Columbia Today guests is provided by Hood River Coffee Roasters, the Gorge's local coffee roasters, on Tucker Road on the Heights in Hood River.
8:31 in the morning on Mid-Columbia Today. And it's time to take a look at what's in the news. The Wasco County Commission formally approved amendments to the county's National Scenic Area Ordinance to allow for ex-buy review of replacement structures destroyed by disasters such as last June's Rowena fire. There was no testimony offered during Wednesday's second hearing on the amendments. The Columbia Gorge Commission moved forward earlier this year with adjusting its management plan to pave the way for the amendments. Wasco County Planning Director Daniel Doherty says the change will make it easier for those who are impacted by disasters. Both Commissioners Scott Hagee and Jeff Justison voted in favor of the amendments. Also, Hagee and Justison decided to wait until their next meeting, July 15th, before making a decision on how to proceed agree with filling the vacancy on the panel left by the passing of Phil Brady on May 19th, but both indicated they were leaning toward not using an application process. Hagee said with only 6 months left in the term to be filled and the election in November, going through applications would probably take too much time. That means they'll either A, make an appointment, or B, simply leave the seat vacant until after the November election, then appoint the winner to fill out the rest of that term. Hagee did say he and Justison are covering all the work that needs to be done. Klickitat County Emergency Management on Wednesday evening lifted all the evacuation advisories related to the Lyle Hill fire. The Southeast Washington Air Agency All Hazards Type 3 team said it will turn over the fire scene to a local Type 4 incident commander today, and the remaining state fire mobilization resources are being released to return to their home units. After fire lines held in strong winds the last 2 days, keeping the size at 233 acres. There are now locations in both Hood River and the Dalles to recycle materials not accepted in curbside recycling carts. The new Recycle On centers are funded by paper and packaging manufacturers under Oregon's Recycling Modernization Act. They'll be located at Hood River Garbage and the Dalles Disposal. Accepted materials include plastic bags and stretchy plastic lids and caps, plastic package handles, plastic buckets and pails, shredded paper in a paper bag, and aluminum foil and trays. Residents can find a complete list of accepted materials and site hours at recycleon.org/Oregon Centers. Current temperatures at this time, it's 55 in Stevensland, 61 in the Dalles, 58 in Hood River, and it is now 8:33 in the morning. We'll talk Hood River County 4-H after this.
Looking for summer fun for the kids? Sign up now at Hood River Valley Parks and Recreation for all-day summer kids camps and youth activities. From sports, STEM, theater, and outdoor adventures to basketball, soccer, mountain biking, water sports, and more. Plus, financial assistance is available. Spots fill fast. Register today at hoodriverparksandrec.org.
KIHR is just a command away on your Alexa device. Enabling the KIHR skill is easy. Just say, Alexa, enable KIHR skill. Say, Alexa, open KIHR.
Hey, it's Zach from Del Carpino Automotive, where we specialize in keeping European rides happy. Audi, BMW, Mercedes, and even those tall Sprinter vans that look like hotels on wheels. We know them inside and out. And if you're wondering where we went, we didn't go far. We're just now 5 minutes from our old shop in our brand new location in the Upper Hood River. Same trusted crew, more space, and the same honest, family-owned service. Come see us at Del Carpino Automotive. European expertise and Columbia Gorge roots.
Mid-Columbia Today is a public affairs program of Bicoastal Media Columbia River, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR and GorgeRadio.com. Now, back to Mark Bailey.
And we are back. It is 8:37 in the morning, and we're going to talk Hood River County 4-H. Grace Wesson and Karyna Marquez are here. Good morning to both of you.
Hello, hello. It's nice to be on this morning.
Well, thank you for being with us. Grace, you are, I forget what your exact title is now over there.
Oh, good question. There's a lot of words in it. It is Hood River County, ready?
Yes.
4-H Outreach Program Coordinator. And that's a lot of words to say that basically I run the 4-H program in the county.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I think, Karyna, you're the intern.
Yes, I'm the 4-H intern.
Okay, so welcome to both of you. And let's talk about, I guess, first of all, for those who aren't familiar, we've talked about 4-H a lot on this show for various areas, various counties. But what 4-H is, Grace? What do you guys do?
That sounds good, yeah. So I've given this little spiel before a few times, but I'll give you all the rundown if any of our listeners are not familiar. 4-H, you might be wondering, what are the 4-H's? We'll start with that. It's head, heart, hands, and health. You might be wondering, what does it do? 4-H is the nation's largest youth development organization, and it serves more than 6 million youth in the United States. And basically, the way it works is it's run out of the state's land-grant university. In this state, it's Oregon State University. And kids will work on a project all year with the help of dedicated adult volunteers, really leading up to their county's fair, where they'll get to showcase it in front of judges and the community and really get to celebrate all of their hard work. So it's super fun. I'll give you some impact stats, so I know that's kind of fun. On a nationwide scale, 4-H youth are 2 times more likely to be a leader in their communities and 3 times more likely to participate in community service. So that goes to show that this program is really dedicated to helping youth gain the self-efficacy and grit and dedication that they become leaders and are able to build whatever life they want to design for themselves.
So, fair is coming up, which is always kind of the big culmination of a 4-H year, if you will, if we start the school year in September. Karyna, you're again interning this year, but you've been in this program, I think, in Hood River County for, I think you said 10 years?
Yeah, I have.
So take me through that. How did you progress through all this?
Yeah, so I started in kindergarten as a clover bud, and I took little bunnies to fair, and I do static projects, and then my older sister started showing livestock when she was in 4th grade, and then I just kind of did everything she did. So I got a pig as my first animal, and from there, my family just got really involved in it, and we kind of took showing animals to a whole nother level, and that kind of became our lives. And I did more than just 4-H for showing animals, but 4-H was always what we came back to, and it was always our end show at the end of the summer. We got to sell our animals, and it always just felt super nice to kind of showcase in my own county what I had been working hard for all year, and kind of see all my hard work pay off in the end.
Did you have a particular favorite program out of all that?
Like animal?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started showing sheep pretty competitively in middle school, and I'd say that really is what I stuck with and was my favorite.
So what does it take to show a sheep successfully in a competition?
It takes a lot.
Okay.
A lot of hours, a lot of time. You typically, like for sheep, you'd get them in mid-March, and then you're working them all the way up until the end of July. And I'd be out working with my sheep every night for at least 30 minutes. And then there's hair care that comes along with it, feeding them, measuring feed, weighing the animal. So there's a lot that goes into it to reach that end goal of selling it at the county fair.
Grace, you've got, it sounds like, about 175 kids this year.
Yeah, so that's a little bit up from last year, but we're so proud to serve 175 youth members this year just through our 4-H clubs. We do kind of a la carte style little educational events. For those listeners who remember our Super Saturday event, that was a blast, and we had 60 youth there. And those 175 youth members that we serve year-round are supported by 40 dedicated volunteers, and we absolutely love our volunteers at Hood River County 4-H. Shout out volunteers if you're listening. But yeah, we do serve a lot of youth in the county. And these kids are hardworking kids. They're up in the morning before school feeding their animals. Early in the morning, you know, that alarm goes off whether it's raining or maybe even a little bit snowy, or if the sun is shining. And then they're out working them in the evenings. So
people who go to Hood River County Fair here, July 22nd to the 25th, 3 weeks away, as I mentioned, they'll see these various exhibits. And there's a lot of different kind of levels of competition, from what I understand, correct?
Yeah, we have, Karyna mentioned when she was first sharing her 4-H story that she started as a clover bud. And we call the older 4-H members clovers. So that's our very cute term for the members ages 5 through 8. And so they bring exhibits to the fair non-competitively and just get practice explaining, say, their painting to a judge. But kids can bring all kinds of projects. Karyna mentioned static exhibits, and what we mean by that is things like photography, sewing, baking, arts and crafts, woodworking. We have a ton of woodworking exhibits this year. A ton of kids made musical instruments, actually, which is incredible. There's gardening projects, STEM projects, and more. And all of those non-animal projects you can see in the Y East gym during fair. And then we also have our animal programs as well, and kids kind of advance through the ages at the level that they're competing at. But we have large animal species like Karyna mentioned, sheep, goats, pigs, cattle. It's really incredible to see a middle schooler showing this 1,100-pound calf. That is just incredible.
So now you didn't do calves, did you?
I did. I kind of dabbled in everything.
Okay.
But yeah, and then my family breeds cows. So.
Because I've got to ask then, how does a middle schooler get
a lot of work.
Really?
You get steers in the fall before fair, and so from that fall till the end of July, you are constantly spending time with them. It takes a lot of work. Steers are a lot.
I was just trying to think, there's a size difference there.
Yes, a big one.
Yep.
So I probably interrupted you there. I
Oh,
just had
no,
to
you're
ask
good.
that.
No, that's a point worth talking about. So if that's something that piques your interest, please come to the Hood River County Fair and see the culmination of all these kids' work. But we also have small animals like rabbits and poultry and cavies. And a cavie, fun vocabulary word for our listeners, is a guinea pig.
Yeah, I had to learn that a number of years ago when I saw these. I saw them and went, hold on, I had a guinea pig when I was a kid. That's what these were. And, and somehow the name got changed.
Yeah, we just have a fun little nomenclature for them. But yes, we have a really cute small animal barn, just chock full of rabbits and cavies during fair.
Of course, part of the point of this is learning for kids. So, Karyna, I'll turn to you because you're the one who has gone through this over a number of years. What do you feel like you learned from all these experiences as you went through this from, as you said, from kindergarten on through high school?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is responsibility. Like Grace mentioned, you're waking up every day and feeding your animals and working with them, and you learn pretty quickly that the animal is your responsibility and you have to keep it alive and keep it healthy. So definitely responsibility, a lot of time management. There was a lot of times, especially when I was in high school, that I really wanted to go hang out with my friends, but I knew I had to work my animals before could go hang out with my friends. So that's another one. Money management. These kids are selling their livestock at the end of the fair, and you are getting a check eventually. And so learning how to save my money, keep it. I'm now in college, and so having that savings account built for me was really nice, and I think it's really good for kids to be in a program like that where they're getting set up for their future.
So this brings up the auction, Grace, and this is, to me, this is the most important thing about the fair, is actually this auction, because of kind of what Karyna mentioned, the importance of this for the youngsters who have been through this. And it is one of the more interesting things to observe, I will say, having been there, for everybody involved. But great, it's hard to understate the importance of that particular event for these kids, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. There are multiple ways to support Hood River County 4-H and the hardworking 4-H and FFA kids who have been raising their livestock all year. And one of those ways is by going to our youth livestock auction. And that is going to happen Friday, July 24th at 5:30 p.m. Folks who are interested in either attending or going as a buyer can come to our buyer's barbecue starting at 4 p.m. At the fairgrounds to learn a little bit more. But I would encourage people to do that. That money goes into the kids' pockets and helps the auction operations for future years, and it helps them learn things like responsibility, budgeting, set up a nest egg for college, things like that.
And, Karyna, you talk about learning with this, and the business side of it is, when I have witnessed at the auction, selling an animal for the first time is kind of it's a kind of a tough experience, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
What was it like for you?
It definitely was more difficult when I was younger.
Sure.
I would get really attached. Believe it or not, pigs are very easy to get attached to.
Oh, yeah. I know people have pigs as pets.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think growing up and getting a little bit older, I started to realize that the animal you are selling is putting food on someone else's table, and that's an important thing just for agriculture in general. Right. So kind of realizing what was happening. I mean, I do still have one sheep that I showed because he was like a dog. So I did get him back. He is a pasture pet now. But some of those, it was hard. But I kind of had to remember that this is why we do it. And this is what I signed up for. And it's helping someone else out.
So again, the auction is going to be on Friday night of the fair, which is July 24th. And 5:30 is when the auction itself starts. Buyer's barbecue is at 4 o'clock, and I think you register at that point too, get a buyer number, all those things.
That's correct. And so the auction is one way to support. I'd also like to mention that we have other programs besides where kids sell their animals. So some kids bring an animal to the fair and just compete in showmanship and then bring their animal home.
Right.
There's a lot of different dimensions to the program. But yes, for folks interested in supporting the auction and youth livestock entrepreneurs, you'll arrive at the fairgrounds at 4 p.m. for the Buyer's Barbecue to register on Friday, July 24th.
Yep. So three weeks from now, up at the fairgrounds in Odell. And for those who might be interested in being in 4-H, because I know we're not quite to that time of year, but we're getting close. I know you're trying to wrap up this year at the fair, but it'll start up again next year. How do people get involved in this?
Yeah. So there's a few different ways. I happen to have written a few handy bullet points here.
Okay.
So our enrollment is going to open back up on October 1st. So I would encourage folks to reach back out to us at that time. But we're happy to help kids find a club, no matter what a kid's interests are. If they want to show animals or sell livestock like our intern Karyna did during her 4-H career, there are clubs for that. If they're just interested in, say, making a woodworking project and not doing anything animal related, we have clubs for that too. So I would encourage folks, come October 1st this year, to contact Hood River 4-H at oregonstate.edu, or you can call us too, because we like to talk, at 541-386-3343. And again, that opens back up in October. If any adults are listening and thinking, oh yeah, 4-H, I feel like I just really want to start a 4-H club. I think I have me and a friend who wants to do it, and we have about 6 hours a month available to help mentor youth. That's all you need to start a 4-H club. So if you're listening and thinking, I want to help guide youth on these projects, I want to teach them life skills, I want to help them really lean into whatever interests are really sparking something for them, please reach out to our office too at around that time, and we would love to work with you on that. Phone number, again, 541-386-3343. And for folks who are thinking, gosh, the year-long 4-H club experience, that sounds great, but we're busy little bees. That's fine. Some of us are. I offer 4-H kind of a la carte events throughout the year. I'm planning on some cooking classes in the fall that I would love to get some folks signed up for once they get released. I offer a lot of craft classes, so please stay tuned for those.
All right. Grace, Karyna, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Again, the Hood River County Fair is Wednesday, July 22nd through Saturday, July 25th, and the 4-H stuff is all over the place at the fairgrounds. You're at the barns for the livestock. You've got Summit Building. You've got the community building at the YE's Gymnasium. You'll find them everywhere.
Yep, omnipresent 4-H.
We will come back. It's 8:52. We'll wrap things up with Cameron and I right after this.
Celebrate the 4th of July Hood River style. Kick off the holiday at the Hood River Parade starting at 10 a.m. in the Heights, then enjoy a full day of community celebration across the gorge. Hood River Fireworks is a 100% community-funded nonprofit, and our annual raffle is the primary way we raise funds to keep this tradition alive year after year. Donate today and enter to win your share of over $5,000 in raffle prizes while supporting this incredible community event. Learn more, donate, and enter at hoodriverfireworks.com. Then join us for the fireworks show on the scenic Hood River waterfront at 10 p.m. this 4th of July.
Did you know Skyline Health in White Salmon has its very own sports medicine doc superstar? That's right. Dr. Ryan Petering trained at OHSU, cared for professional Nike athletes, and even spent more than 15 years teaching other doctors how it's done. From sporting injuries to arthritis, he's here to help you move better, feel stronger, and keep doing the things you love. Want to live life to its fullest? Step right up and visit myskylinehealth.org. Skyline Health, world-class care right here at home.
Tune in weekday mornings at 8:05 and keep up with community events and issues with the Mid-Columbia Today Show on Mid-Columbia's news leaders, 98.3 FM and 1340 AM KIHR. Special thanks to our sponsors, Skyline Hospital, Eastside Paving, and Del Carpine Automotive.
We got a full boat next week. Remember, tomorrow we will not be with you on the program or have Mid-Columbia mornings. We are taking the day off. This is the 4th of July observed, as they call it, to create a 3-day holiday weekend, which I'm in favor of. That means I can go play golf or whatever. But here's what we've got next week. Tanya Farman is going to join us first. Kiteboard for Cancer is back after a 1-year hiatus. And Tanya is the one who really got that started, and she's going to come back into this. So we're going to talk about it. It's going back to its roots. So we'll have her on the show. Jim Winterbottom from Waste Connections, Hood River Garbage and the Dallas Disposal. It's something we just mentioned in the news. Both Hood River Garbage and the Dallas Disposal now are locations where you can take things to get recycled that you can't put in the recycle bins. And I know this gets confusing because I can't keep track of it myself. I get very confused. What can I put in? What can't I put in? And now what can I not put in the bin that I still can take over to the drop-off site? So we'll talk about that Monday. Tuesday, Tony Warren, candidate for Klickitat County Sheriff. Remember, Washington's got their primary in early August. We'll talk to him. Plus, Cindy Thiemann, Hood River Watershed Group, will be our guest. Wednesday, we'll talk Mid-Columbia Community Action with Leslie Narrowmore, and we'll talk Hood River County Health Department with Darren Ryan. Thursday, Klickitat County Commission candidate Andy Callanan, plus we'll talk Skyline Hospital. On Friday, Klickitat County Commission incumbent Lori Zoller, and we'll talk Columbia Gorge Discovery Center as well. So plenty of stuff coming up next week on our little Mid-Columbia Today program that we bring you every weekday morning at this time, or you can get delivered via podcast on your mobile device, wherever you get your podcasts, no matter where that is. Busy 4th of July weekend ahead. You can go to gorgeradio.com, check our events page. I don't have the time here to go through it all, but of course you have the fireworks shows in the Dalles, Hood River, Cascade Locks, and Stevenson. We'll mention the Hood River one in particular because that is a show that is completely funded by community donations. Go to hoodriverfireworks.com. If you are going to take in that show in any manner, chip in a few bucks and help keep it going. You know, somebody's got to pay for it. You know, these shows, and here it's always been through community donation, and if you can do so, please donate to them because they can use it most certainly to make sure they have a show next year. Gonna follow this ice rink thing very closely with interest because that's a big number, 10 to 12 million. But I've said you can build anything. I've said that. It's just, you know, it's always me about operations. So we'll see how that goes. But it's ambitious. I'm just trying to think of a parallel, and I don't have one for the area. I'm trying to think of it by Monday. We're done for Cameron Eisenberg. Have a great weekend. Talk to you on Monday.
The Mid-Columbia Today Show is a public affairs presentation of Bicoastal Media Columbia River. The views expressed on the program are not necessarily those of the station, parent company, or of the sponsors. We welcome your suggestions for future shows. Call us at 541-386-1511. Listen to Mid-Columbia Today where you want. Follow or subscribe to Mid-Columbia Today wherever you download your podcast to get the show delivered every day to your mobile device.